Let's see. Ah, now it's recording. I tell you, the learning curve with technology. Anybody else out there? Anyone? I don't know. It's a lot sometimes. I admit all this midlife stuff is big. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to come in and chat about it because sometimes it feels like a lot. I've got my crazy bun up there. Does anybody else have a couple different shades going on as in case you've stopped dyeing your hair? I stopped about, gosh, it's coming up on 4 years, I think, because I think it was 2018 that I took a Brave challenge. And if you've ever listened to my podcast over at Hill Talks Podcast, then you'll hear that, what is it, 50 Shades of Brave, I think was that episode. So sometimes we take brave dares, and when I was serving with Planting Roots, a women's ministry, and I was able to do that. But I also learned through all that process that we can be brave in lots of ways. It's not just what you do with your hair, sometimes it's getting on live and talking to people. And sometimes it's doing something completely different. So when I decided that I was going to um, try to launch a community. I mean, who out there feels alone? And I wonder if this might resonate. So I'll talk a little bit about my passion project. I am super passionate about helping midlife women, and I really want to see us go from feeling that alone and isolated and wondering, am I the only one that feels like this? The stuck and confused part of wondering, like, what's happening to me? What's happening to my mind, my body? Sometimes even my soul feels like it's challenged in every way. And there are times that I feel both anxious and hesitant. And I'm wondering, like, is this all there is left of life? Or is there something else? There are times too I'm feeling overwhelmed and just wondering, like, is this no, I'm thinking this is way too much for me, way too much, and way too hard. Has anybody been in that stuck place, whether it's in your relationship, in your life, with your children if you have them? I just wonder. Or are you really, really exhausted? Just like, I've got nothing left to give. Like, no curse words needed, because there's a funny saying about that. But that I've just got nothing left to give. Like, for myself, for my children, for my husband. And I've had these conversations with them. So just so you know, I'm not saying anything to you that my family is not already fully aware of. We have worked through a lot. And that's why I'm so motivated to go through this transformation and knowing that what if together in community of midlife women coming together and saying, yeah, I'm worth taking care of myself. I am worth the time and money and energy to either get more healthy or to get my finances on track. Maybe it's, yeah, I do need to reach out for help. And I don't know if you grew up like me, but we grew up to be very autonomous and independent. So asking for help and receiving help were really, really hard things to do. So I think if the goal is to know, hey, I'm not alone, what if you get positive clarity by coming into a community of really amazing, intelligent, professional women who truly, truly care about helping you get to where you want to go in life? Sometimes it's just showing up and having a conversation. I mean, that's what we women do, right? We talk to each other, we support each other, we listen, and we're not trying to fix somebody because you're not broken. And I was reading in this great book by Dr. Emily Nagoski, and the phrase that stood out to me is, I am safe, I am whole, I am home. And I think that's what we're going for in this midlife transition and experience, knowing that I'm safe, I'm whole, and I'm home. And it's okay. I think I've been working on this year of really wanting to know, what do I need and what do I want? I mean, who gets to do that when you're busy trying to be a good wife, a good mother, a good daughter, a good sibling, a good employee, all that kind of stuff. I know that we want to get to the point of confidence and we want to go from that kind of confusion and hesitation to, yeah, I can do this. I can learn new technology. I can learn to podcast or I can learn to be a guest on something. I can learn to upload something to YouTube. I can learn to release something and release a blog, start build a website. I mean, I never thought I could do these things. Have you ever tried something and you think, I don't know if I can do this? Well, what's really awesome is that I'm here to encourage you that you can learn something new. You are not an old dog that can't learn a new trick. One, you're not a dog because you're a woman and I see you and I get you. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I think my final like wish for the future you is that you can learn, that you can be confident to say, yeah, I can do that. I can learn that. I can really be more energized. I can prioritize like myself and my health. And I can learn to advocate for myself to my medical provider. And if I don't like my therapist or my doctor, I can fire them and find a new one. And I can talk to people that know what I'm dealing with and what I'm going through. So I've got this crazy, crazy vision to build like the world's biggest women's midlife network, the WMN, and without any of the vowels even. And I think there are so many women who are wondering like what's happening to me, and I want to answer that question. And with perimenopause, like what is that even, right? There's signs, there's symptoms, there's so much going on, and it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy being a woman. It's not easy being a woman transitioning through your career while you're transitioning your children out of the house, while you've been in your marriage 20, 25, 30 years and you're wondering, oh my gosh, I don't even want to sleep in the same room with this person sometimes. And we've had that conversation too. So don't think I'm like sliding anything in here. Um, yeah, I'm just wondering like what your questions are. And I thought if I post here, if I come in here, you know, are there questions that are on there? So I want to transition because it's supposed to be a fun mixer, but it's hard to mix when there's not more than one person. So I'll shift to a funny story about my dog, Kahlua. I have this little 5-year-old Havanese. She's a little redhead. And she is pretty funny, right? She's not a lap dog. She's a near you dog. And sometimes she's a next to you dog. Well, she's really, really, really possessive of her toys. Like if you take something and you throw it, she'll go get it, but she's not going to fetch it and bring it back to you. She's going to go off and store it and hide it somewhere. And she will cover something under her chin and not even let you like see it. And she'll even growl at us, and we love her, and she knows that we love her. But the other day we had someone visiting, and this young woman is an amazing juggler. Like she can juggle and run a 5K at the same time. She is not in midlife, but I bet there's a woman in midlife that can juggle and run a 5K. So our friend got 3 of Kahlua's little balls, and she was going to juggle them. Well, our dog went bananas. Bananas. She ran right over and she was looking at her and she was kind of shaking and she was up there begging because she does this with her paws. It's pretty cute. And then she was sitting down and her tail was wagging her because she was trying to be patient. And she was stressed. Like our dog was stressed. She's like circling this young woman and looking at her and wondering, what are you doing with my stuff? And she wouldn't let the woman juggle. She wouldn't let her. And we almost couldn't believe it. I don't even think we got it on film, but if we did, I'll post it in here later. So it was pretty funny. And finally, she did some juggling. I think we had to crate the dog. I mean, this dog was going crazy. Do you have an animal that like goes nuts on you sometimes? Is your pet as possessive as my dog? I kind of wonder. So it's just a little bit of fun. It's just a little story, and I hope to hear some of your stories. I hope to get to know other midlife women. I'm going to be really, really brave. And tomorrow, it's my 26th wedding anniversary. I didn't know if we were going to get here. And we both know this. This has been an open conversation. We've been through a lot of work to still intentionally be together, to be loving, to be forgiving, to be patient. Ooh, so much patience in marriage, right? So tomorrow's my anniversary, but that's not the brave thing. That's easy. We might go see that Top Gun Maverick movie because that came out when we were together in high school at the Science and Math in Durham, North Carolina. That's where we met. And but the brave thing I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to reach out to other women who are also building their midlife communities and seeing if they want to work on building this women's midlife network. It sounds a little crazy, right? Well, I don't mind sounding a little bit crazy. I like the creativity, I like the challenge. And now I'm trying to work through that fear, right? Because when we put ourselves out there, and sometimes I've shared some stuff on here that's really hard to deal with, that it's a challenge to feel, am I safe? Am I whole? And am I home? Or am I going to find people who are going to wonder, whoa, what is going on with you? Well, I also serve as an expert over on Perimenopause Hub, and there's a private Facebook group, and Emily Barclay, I would now consider her a friend of mine, but she's also kind of a mentor. I've done a few podcasts with her to highlight what she is doing. And in 3 years, she has grown this Perimenopause Hub from 0 to like 40,000 women. 40,000 women are, in there and asking questions and getting some support. And I really kind of had to debate of like, oh, I don't want to step on Emily's toes, but she's in England. And just like some of the members tonight, I doubt any of them are awake, but it's really a tough time to get everybody. When you're a global person, right? It's really hard to say, hey, this time is going to be perfect for everybody around the world because we have 24 time zones, right? And I've lived overseas for over 10 years. We lived in Germany, we lived in Okinawa, Japan, and that is not an easy thing to do to adjust. So I had to apologize to the members in the UK because this is 5 p.m. in Colorado time. That's where I'm coming to you from. And I just realized, oh, well, yeah, it's midnight over there. And so she said, you should let us know where you're going to be broadcasting from so we won't feel kind of left out. But I do love hosting things in the middle of the day because I'm much more of a morning person than an evening person. Like, I feel like I turn into a pumpkin, not at midnight, but closer to like 8 or 9 p.m. And usually by 10, I'm out. So anyway, I'm just going to check and see if anybody is joining us. Oh, Nicole, you're so sweet to at least cheer me on and see how it's going. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for your support. I mean, that's what we do. Nicole is starting a membership for fellow nurses and really helping them step into their health and their power and advocating for themselves. And that's something that's really important. And we just have to be able to support each other. And something weird happened to me yesterday. I got kicked out of Facebook groups. So I cannot post or comment on any Facebook group for 7 days. So I guess it happened 2 days ago because Facebook says you've got 5 days left. I don't even know what I did. Like, has that ever happened to you all? Some of these things just happen and I'm like, what is going on? Well, I do have really long hair. I guess I can take it out because it's not all gray. So it's a little bit of ombre, but sometimes I just take it out of the way. So I'm really much more of a brunette, right? There's still a lot of brunette left. But it's important to just be gentle with ourselves. If you like to color your hair, awesome. If you don't want to color your hair and you feel like society says women have to color their hair, well, it's changing. And even if there's only 10 or 20 or 40% of us that are saying, you know what, you can embrace all of the joy and the freedom of not having to color your hair. It's not like it goes instant gray. It grows out very gradually. I mean, this is 4 years of not doing my hair. This is probably the most gray area. And then I have this like super black streak right down the middle. My former hairdresser just would crack up. She said, you've got like this darkness right there. So I want us to give ourselves permission slips to figure out who we are, to be ourselves, and just to listen to that voice. It might be the 9-year-old girl who, before she got told that she was too loud or she talked too much or she needed to calm down. Maybe it's the really energetic person in you. Maybe you've lost that energy and you want to get back to living with greater health. I mean, in Community Bloom, this is what we do. We reach out to women. I interview professionals. Some of them are nutritionists, dietitians, financial experts, yoga instructors. They might be health and wellness coaches. I'm trying to think what else. Ooh, coming up in June, it's really exciting. I have two physical therapists who are pelvic floor specialists who are going to be my guests in Community Bloom. And for members, you get to catch the replay. I do the synopsis for you if it's too long, didn't read, because you don't have the attention span or the time to read it. So there's lots of options for you. And I also have a guest at the end of June who is going to talk about co-working. That was a brand new concept for me, but Iris Kavanaugh is amazing. And she founded a membership on women who co-work and how to support them. And I'm like, wait a minute. If I'm starting a new business, maybe I need to co-work with somebody so I can focus and get work done. I don't know. What do you think? So I'm grateful that Nicole showed up. I'm grateful for whatever comments you add. And if you want to subscribe, I would love it. That's what I'm going to ask you. Can you just add yourself to my mailing list over at info@communitybloom.org? You can sign up at the website, www.communitybloom.org. And I'm probably about to pause the membership because I'm getting ready to do this big launch. So I'm probably going to close it. So if you have questions, you can ask me. And I just hope you have a marvelous, oh, it's not even Monday. I can't say marvelous Monday. Should be a terrific rest of your Tuesday. We do all this goofy stuff. Have a wonderful Wednesday, a terrific Thursday, and fabulous or fun Friday. So I appreciate those that RSVP'd. I know that some of our members will catch the replay because I try to save this into our Community Bloom private membership for women. And I'm just grateful. So I hope that you're going to go from feeling that stuck alone, overwhelmed, exhausted, to really feeling like worthy and energized. And how are you going to get there? Hopefully it's through this community, coming together to women who have been through it, are going through it, and know exactly what it looks like and feels like and sounds like to be a woman in midlife. We're going to get there together. We're going to grow in confidence. We're going to support each other. And we're going to get that clarity of like, yep, this is what I need. This is a new dream I'm going to create. I'm going to imagine this and envision this next chapter with like hope and resilience. And it might include, you might dress differently. You might dye your hair a different color, or you might choose to stop dyeing it. You might say, hey, here's who I am. And it'll be great. You're going to learn to be an advocate for yourself, and I hope you will visit us soon. So I think it's probably enough talking for now, and really appreciate you. This is Hillary Baggett with Community Bloom and Hill Talks Podcast. Thanks so much.